Hello, welcome. I'm Reverend Kimberly Harrell here at First Unity Spiritual Campus, and we are here today for a virtual book launch. Joining me is our own spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes, and she has a new book that is launching today, Crappy to Happy, published by Sacred Publishing. So tell us, Reverend Dr. Temple, what is this book about?
Well, it's a great journey, and it really launched with Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. And they had this idea that these transformational stories would transform people's lives. And we find that. I mean, we find that as we teach here in our community. We also find that when we look at, you know, there's a saying that says, when did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? And when did you stop telling the wonderful stories about your lives? Because that's what heals us. Stories are extremely transformational. So those two amazing colleagues got together and decided that they would reach out to some authors that were characters, no less, and had interesting stories. Yes. And so I was one of them picked, and I feel honored, and I'm grateful to be here. And a shout out to Sacred Publishing, you know, for publishing the book. So it's launching today.
Yes, and this book is true stories of grit, grace, and love.
Yeah.
And your story in the book is about a personal journey.
Yes. Well, for years I have been using the quote, united we stand, divided we are merely a distraction. And that's what I tell my ministerial students throughout the country and other countries, is collect these kind of quotes and stories because they grow with you. And so mine being united we stand, divided we are merely a distraction, what I came to realize is that early on in my life, how divided I was, how distracted I was, because I realized early on in my life that I had a greater attraction to women than men. May not have known why, but I knew it was so. And so in my life of going from misfit, because that's how I felt treated, you know, where I grew up. My grandmother told me, oh my gosh, I'm so sad, I won't ever see you in heaven. And that's just awful. And, you know, I'd go to the family gatherings. I didn't even have my driver's permit, you know, and they're already saying, not going to see you in heaven. And I went, whoa, you know. But that being said, you know, you could feel the room change when I would enter a room. I went from being everybody's favorite little grandchild or niece or something to, oh boy, she's in the room. That, whatever that is, she's there. So that was my crappy. That was definitely my crappy.
Yeah. And you created it, turned it into happy.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It becomes happy. And for those of you tuning in, you know, give us some comments. We'd love to hear from you. And what is your story from crappy to happy? And how did that look? And how did that transform into something much more greater and magnificent and more dynamic for your life? You know, we have these experiences, or we're born into these situations not so they can be against us, but so they could be for us. Who knew that I would become such an activist for people choosing to love whomever they wanted to love, and a spokesperson for that. And so the things that you look at in your life that were the crappy, if you allow them to transform within you, they become then transformational for other people. That's what it's all about. That's why we have them, you know. So it's been a great blessing to move on the journey from misfit to mystic.
And that
I'm looking for our audience.
That it's not necessarily the situations or the challenges that you face in life that define you.
Right.
It's what you do with it.
It's what you do with it.
You turned it into transformational joy.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yes. And the foreword of this book is written by best-selling author James Redfield, who wrote The Celestine Prophecy.
That's right. He felt very strong about this book and wanted to be a part of it. And he's going to be on our radio show on Unity FM in a couple of weeks. He and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas are going to be on the radio show and talking about it. But what is your moment, and how have you felt divided? Because that division is what gets in the way often of our blessings, of what is possible, of what can be true for us, and those kind of things. And also, this is part of a weekly program now that to connect and communicate with all of you and to have you ask questions online and us engage is a very exciting thing. So I urge you to join us.
Yes. And Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes is so committed to being there for everyone that she came to me and said, what can we create that would allow me to be more connected to our congregation and to the people in the world? Because right now we have become a global ministry here at First Unity Spiritual Campus, and we are touching people outside of our geographical boundaries. We are touching people from all over the world. So this virtual book launch today is the first to kick off conversations with Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes, Conversations and Connection, that'll happen every Tuesday at 1:11 right here on the Facebook page, whether you go to Temple Hayes Facebook page, First Unity Facebook page, or the Unity Community for Practical Spirituality Worldwide page. That's over 190,000 followers on those pages combined that we are influencing as difference makers.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what we're all committed to here as our staff, is that we're here to reach near and far and spread the good message of hope and instill possibilities in your life. And so if you're at a moment right now of crappy, hang on. Stay the course. Keep putting a foot in front of you. Don't give up. Go strong, because you'll see that you will get on the other side of it, and you will overcome. And what always helped me is I would call forth, what was the last thing that happened to you that was big? And then you remind yourself, oh, well, I did okay. I made it through that. Look, it made me bigger. And that, anybody that has read any of my work, that that's really how I feel. The question of life isn't whether you live or die. The question of life is really, what parts of yourself do you allow to die while you're living? And you can have some tragic stories. You can have, heartache and upset and drama. And if you believe it, it will grow you into a more energetic person. If you believe it, you will be happier on the other side. If you don't allow yourself to die. If you say, wow, this is not a fun experience that I'm having, but it obviously is important because I'm having it, and on the other side of it, I'm going to be bolder, I'm going to be braver, and I'm going to have more energy in my body. We're just, you and I have talked many times, we're really duped in our society. We're taught the more things you have happen to you, and goodness knows God doesn't give you more than you can handle. The more things happen to you, the less of you there is. It's like they say, one person, was 75 and died. The other person was 75 and died at 20.
Yes.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Just totally just going through the motions that we call life. And it's not necessary. You can take these situations in your life and they can catapult you to things beyond your imagination. And absolutely.
And that would bring you to Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes' best-selling book, When Did You Die? So you can get both books, From Crappy to Happy or When Did You Die, on Amazon right now. Just type it into Amazon, either book title, and you will find the link to purchase the book. And right now we are doing a virtual book launch, but once we are able to come together safely, we will do another book signing event with Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes. So go ahead and get your book, read it and enjoy it, and turn your crappy to happy. And then you'll be able to bring that book in and have it signed by Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes when we are able.
And it's already made the New York best-selling list, so it's already a success, even though we publicly launched it today. So you'll enjoy the stories because there's some amazing authors in there. Dr. Bernie Siegel has always been one of my favorites, you know, and Ken Walls.
Yeah.
His story is in there. Some powerful teaching. I love reading. I'm so inspired by hearing them.
Yes.
I mean, we love that as a culture. You know, when we find out that, you know, Tina Turner struggled back then when she didn't even have a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you hear that and you go, well, gosh, if she can do what she did, then, well, I can do it too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's so transformational.
And I'll share with you that it is a quick and fun read because it is 30 authors sharing their personal stories. And so it's a compilation of some short stories, and that makes it quick and fun and easy to read so that you can get from your crappy to your happy quickly.
Yes.
You don't have to do a deep dive, but you can
Right.
do a beautiful swan dive right there.
I love that. Swan dive. So it's been a pleasure to be with you today, and we will look at your comments and respond accordingly. And next week I will be typing along with you some of your comments and some of your thoughts. And it's just a pleasure to be with you and be part of your lives. And thank you for taking the time and bringing us into your world.
Yes.
We very much appreciate it. But remember, do not be divided within yourself. You know, that it is that united we stand. Don't be a distraction. Stay the course and say yes to your life. Bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And that's our cue.
That's our God cue.
That's our
Yes.
God cue. Thank you so much for being with us today on the virtual book launch of Crappy to Happy. Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes. It's already on the New York bestseller list,
Yes.
so get your copy now.
Bless you, everyone, in peace.